celebrating fitness this morning with the return of our special series, Run for Today. It's all about inspirational stories about people who run and their motivation, counting down to Sunday's More Shape Women's Half Marathon, which will be here in New York.
And Natalie and Erica Hill are hosting that event once again. Erica's here with us this morning. Hey, Erica.
Hey, guys. Nice to see you. We're very excited to be back this year and to have the return of Run for Today. If you ask John Young, he'll tell you anyone can do what he's done. Over the past few years, he's run 6 marathons, 10 half marathons, 36 triathlons. Sure, plenty of people have notched similar accomplishments, but what really sets John apart is his perspective.
At any starting line, John Young has a unique view. Most of his fellow runners tower head and shoulders above him.
I don't have a typical marathoner's body, and that's fine.
John has dwarfism, standing 4 feet 4 inches tall. He also has a passion for racing. The trappings of a runner adorn his desk at the Boston area high school where he teaches math.
Is this a proportion or is this a mean?
While his students know about John's dedication to his sport, few know that not long ago, John was far from the athlete who stands before them today.
The scariest part for me was I stepped on the scale and it said 195 pounds. And I immediately said, I think your scale is broken.
He had sleep apnea, and he would come home from work and be so tired because he didn't sleep well the night before. He would get down on the floor with Owen and start to play, and within minutes be asleep.
John was also at risk for serious heart problems. He began swimming, then biking, then running.
The iconic inspiration of John Young.
Each sport pushing him farther, each race proving he could do more.
Does each finish line you cross feel the same?
I almost come to the point now when I finish a race, then all I'm thinking about is when's the next race.
In 2013, he set his sights on the Boston Marathon. John was a mile from the finish when the bombs went off.
I could hear sirens. A friend of mine was actually walking back, and she just said, the race has stopped.
Determined to finish what he'd started, John was back the following year. At mile 10, he became ill and had to stop. Once reunited with his family, John felt he'd let them down. His son, Owen, had a different view and his own lesson to share.
Dad, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. Today, you are the nail.
And so now his goal is to
Be the hammer.
Be the hammer quickly became John's motto. In 2015, he finished Boston just months after his fastest marathon, New York City, where he was one of the first little people to complete that race. Over the years, John's fan base has continued to grow.
You say you didn't necessarily set out to be an inspiration, but based on what you're telling me, you are in many ways. What does that do for you personally, emotionally?
I think when it's people of short stature or other people that are physically challenged, that's where I get the most satisfaction out of it, because I know what it's like to be laughed at and pointed at when you're different.
John took me for a run on the snowy streets of his hometown, Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah, this is nothing compared to last winter.
With all the ground he's covered, his most important milestones are the ones shared with 13-year-old Owen.
When I did my first triathlon and he watched me finish, I remember the first thing he said to me was, Dad, did you win? And I said, no. And he said, why are you so happy? I said, because I did my best. And it was great. I had a lot of fun.
If he hadn't started, then I probably would have still been fussing over about how I'm shorter than most other people and that I usually keep coming in last place.
So what is it about your dad's running that has changed that for you?
Well, it's just helped me realize that it really doesn't matter what place you come in. It just matters if you finish it.
Come on, Owen!
Last August, Owen started and finished his first race with his dad. A mile run where he came in ahead of John.
It was really satisfying to see him finish and me come in behind him. It was great.
A reminder that even in a race, it really is about the journey.
As I mentioned, John is a math teacher, so of course he did a few calculations. By his calculations, the average size runner takes about 24,000 strides over the course of a marathon. John said he'll take 40,000. It also takes the average runner about 4.5 hours to finish. John is closer to 6 hours. He is running Boston again on Monday, which he's very excited about. And also running that race, we should point out, model turned activist Christy Turlington Burns. Natalie recently caught up with her, and she's going to share more on her story and why she runs tomorrow. And we'd love to see as many of you as possible. Of course, as we mentioned, Natalie and I are co-hosting, along with Carolyn Mano from NBC Sports, the More Shape Half once again here in New York City. But you can tweet us your stories using the hashtag Run for Today. Let us know. We'll get you out there and we'll get you moving.
Inspiring.
Stories.
Yeah.
We like seeing the kid pass the old man now.
Yeah, that was good stuff, right?